maybe you already know that heart has two main vessels which start from bulbous aorta, that is from beginning of aorta. They are right and left, what? Coronary arteries, arteria coronaria, dexter and sinister. Left coronary artery, here it is, left coronary artery, that is, here it is, left coronary artery, start from bulbous aorta, and it is very short vessel, only 1 centimeter, or maybe 1.5. And after that, left coronary artery subdivides into two main branches, ramus interventricularis anterior and ramus circumflexus, that is ramus circumflexus. It continues backward. That is left coronary artery and right coronary artery, arteria coronaria dextra. That is right coronary artery, not so clear to see. Right coronary artery is the same, start from bulbous aorta, surround right border of the heart, and posteriorly in diaphragmatic surface it gives ramus interventricularis posterior. This ramus interventricularis posterior on the apex joined together with ramus interventricularis anterior from left coronary artery and makes anastomosis. And ramus circumflexus from left coronary artery makes anastomosis with right coronary artery. That is why in heart we have two rings, arterial rings, one in horizontal plane, another in vertical plane. In horizontal plane, that is anastomosis between right coronary artery and ramus circumflexus from left coronary artery. And in vertical plane, anastomosis between ramus interventricularis anterior from left coronary artery and ramus interventricularis posterior from right coronary arteries. And you should know which parts of the heart receive blood from right and from left coronary artery. For example, right coronary artery supplies right atrium, septum between right and left atrium, that is septum interatriale. It supplies small part of anterior surface of the right ventricle, whole posterior wall, and part of posterior wall of the left ventricle, and posterior side of septum interventriculare. It also supplies all papillary muscles in right ventricle and posterior papillary muscle in left ventricle. That is right coronary artery. And left coronary artery supplies all another structures. Left atrium, anterior two sets of septum interventriculare, anterior papillary muscle in left ventricle, whole anterior wall and part of posterior wall of the left ventricle. All another receive blood from left coronary artery. And last moment, that is veins of the heart. In heart, we can see three types of veins. First, and it is main group of veins, that is coronary sinus. Coronary sinus. Second group, that is anterior vessels, anterior veins of the heart. And last group, that they are smallest veins of the heart. Anterior and smallest veins directly opens into right atrium, or some of them into right ventricle. But main vein venous system, that is coronary sinus, sinus coronarius, take place at the same groove in sulcus coronarius and opens into right atrium, that is coronary sinus, sinus coronarius cordis. Now my forceps in coronary sinus, clear it is. And this sinus consists of five veins in flow into coronary sinus. First vein, that is vena cordis magna, large vein of the heart, vena cordis magna. It passes in sulcus interventricularis anterior, surround left border of the heart, and continues into coronary sinus. Another vein, that is vena cordis parva, a small vein of the heart. It passes in space between right atrium and right ventricle in coronary sulcus and inflow into coronary sinus. Vena cordis parva. Next vein, vena cordis media. It passes in sulcus interventricularis posterior and inflow into coronary sinus. It is easy. Vena cordis magna, vena cordis parva, and vena cordis media. And last two veins, vena posterior ventriculi sinistri on posterior surface of left ventricle, and oblique vein of the left atrium, vena obliqua atrii sinistri. Posterior vein of the left ventricle and oblique vein of left atrium. 5 veins inflow into coronary sinus, and coronary sinus opens into right atrium. That is all. Arteries, veins, and topography of heart and pericardium. That is on
That's it.